Hello friends, good evening to all of you. So I'm back with another video on sociology optional subject for UPSC CSE mains examination. In this video we are going to cover the concept of exclusion, poverty and depression. That's why it is part 2, and in part 1 we have already finished equality, inequality and hierarchy, and these are topics under stratification and mobility. So friend, please do these 3 hours, share as much as possible so that more and more people will get benefited. Comment and like the video and ask any doubt if you have, and hit the subscription button below the video. And now you can also follow us on FB page, that is facebook.com/unorthodox academy. So friend, as you know that we are covering slot 3, that is stratification, caste and class, and in paper 1 we are at present on the 5th topic, that is stratification mobility, and by this video we are going to cover the all concepts. And in paper 2 we have to see these topics which is based on Indian society and structure. So first we see the social exclusion or exclusion. So social exclusion is an extreme form of social inequality in which a group or individual is largely cut off from the full involvement with the wider society. For example, we can say Harijans in India, and basically it is determined by many factors including norms, values and cultural prejudices and etc. Since man is a social animal, his life goals, ambitions, needs are largely fulfilled by the society. Hence, living in the society is the need of individual, but in some societies, some group or individual are forced to cut off from the wider social interaction due to objective or prejudiced fact. So basically there are 5 types of social exclusion. The first one, it is based on economic deprivation. The second one is based on occupation. Third one is based on violation of norms and rules. Fifth one is based on the ascriptions, and the fifth one is based on the basis of achievement. Now we see one by one each. So first one is based on economic deprivations, or we can say poverty, and basically it is especially in Western society or class-based societies. Those groups are excluded from the society who have little achievement in economic terms. Society forces them to live in slums and discourages them to have contact with the wider society. Albert Cohen, in his study of slum dwellers in America, has given the concept of status frustration, and he believed that the poor in American societies are so marginalized and cut off from the interaction and involvement that out of frustration they move toward deviance. And the second one is exclusion, which is based on occupation. So in every society there are certain occupations that are unhygienic, as I have already given the example of Harijans in India, and disrespectful, like manual scavenging, sweeping, etc. And those group or individual who are attached with these occupations are excluded from the large society. Untouchable caste in India is an example. And the third one is based on the violation of norms and rules. So basically every society expects from its individual to conform the social norms, but if someone or individual deviate from the norm which causes harm or discomfort to the general social order, they get excluded from the society. Imprisonment or social boycott is the example of it. And the fifth one is based on occupations, and it says that in many societies there are certain prejudice which believes that individual due to their birth, caste, race, etc. are not entitled to interact with the larger society. They are forced to live in isolation because of it. Shudras in India, or basically we say that Harijans in India, apartheid in Europe and Africa is the example of it. And the fifth one is exclusion on the basis of achievement, and this exclusion is not imposed by the society, rather it is a self-chosen form of exclusion which is generally found among the celebrities. They disconnect themselves from the larger involvement with the society because they believe that they are no more common social being. They live in fenced houses and do not permit individuals to come to them easily. Hence, social exclusion is a form of inequality found in almost all society. Though the criteria and the form of social exclusion are not universal, but in traditional society it is based on certain cultural prejudice which are always a concern for social reforms. That's why there is social reforms in every society. Now the next term we see is the poverty and deprivation. So poverty can be defined as a socio-economic condition of an individual in which individual and their dependents are devoid of or deprived from those basic things which are essential for the effective functioning of their body and mind, or we can say that for their physiological and psychological development. So the causes and effect of poverty is multidimensional, and in which following causes are considered as important. The first one is culture of poverty, which is by Oscar Lewis. Then lack of opportunity due to overpopulation, natural disaster prone society, then religious dominance, which discourages individual not to go for worldly achievement for by Max Weber. Then concentration of wealth or resource in the hands of particular group, that is by Marx. Or we can say distributive injustice, then lack of technology to exploit resources, then political and economic instabilities which causes poverty and deprivation. So the concept of poverty and deprivation is debated from two perspectives. The first one is liberal and the second one is Marxist. And liberal perspective believes that every individual do not have the same skill, orientation, exposure, will and etc. to reach to the same material possessions, and individual own attitude and habits are responsible for their poverty. Then Marxist perspective believes that that poverty lies is in distributive injustice, that is the resource of society belongs to every individual, but over the period a group establishes their control on all the resources of the society at the cost of others, and the richness of the one section is responsible for the poverty of another section, and it is unethical, illegitimate in every sense according to Marxist perspective. And basically there are two types of poverty which are identified. The first one is absolute poverty, and it refers to the inability of a person or a household to provide even the basic necessities of the life. It refers to the condition of acute physical wants, starvation, malnutrition, want of clothing, want of shelter, and total lack of medical care. At times, absolute poverty is also called as subsistence poverty, since it is based on the assessment of minimum subsistence requirement. Nutrition is measured by the intake of calories and protein, shelter by the quality of dwelling and degree of overcrowding, and the rate of infant mortality and the quality of medical facility. In broader sense, it is suggested that one should go beyond the physical need and also include cultural needs, that is education, security, leisure and recreation. So now we see the second type of poverty, which is relative deprivation or poverty. So this poverty according to this concept is to be measured according to the standards of life at a given time and place. The idea is that standard of society can be changing standards. So definition of poverty should therefore be related to the needs and demanding of changing societies. For example, in India in 1960, those who had a per capita income of rupees 20 or less per month in rural areas were considered to be below the poverty line, and in 2011-12 those who have an income of less than 816 per month in rural area and rupees 1000 in urban area according to Tendulkar committee are considered to be the BPL. So the poverty and deprivation has very socio-economic consequences. So first, it may lead to the class conflict and proletarian revolutions by Karl Marx in the European society. It may lead to sequential migration, that is Notestian. Then poverty leads to the moral corruption, law and other order problems, bad habits, etc. So basically it includes corruption, concentration of population at the place of emerging opportunities, which on the one hand will lead to overpopulation of one place and underpopulation at the another place. It develops, or basically it leads to the regional imbalance. So it develops a sense of retreatism and pessimism. It may cause social movements, civil wars, communal tensions, separatist movement, and etc. So thus we can say that in socio-economic dimension, poverty and deprivation is always considered as dysfunctional for the society, and especially the conflict theorists in sociology considered that the poverty and unequal distribution always create tensions and conflicts which lead to the social changes, but functionalists like Parsons do not agree with this. So thank you guys for listening me and watching this video. Please do these 3 hours, and now you can also follow us in FB page, that is facebook.com/unorthodox academy, and hit the subscription button below the video for the notification of more videos, and hit the bell icon for more notifications. And there, as you know, that there are a lot of videos that are going to come for covering the whole sociology optional subject, so please subscribe to channel. Thank you.